Welcome everybody tonight to our Margaret Street Reconstruction Public Information Meeting number 2. So many of you have seen us here before, but just a quick introduction. My name is Kelly. I'm the project manager for this project from the PNX company side, the consultant. With me, I have Todd Humphrey, principal engineer at the CNX companies, Hugh Kern, CDW, and Mayor Rose. So we're going to start tonight, and most of you are familiar at this point with the Margaret Street project, right? Because we have been here before, and we have come to a lot of these meetings and heard about the project. I'm going to try to do updates tonight to what is happening on the project. In the background, Serious Companies is working on those project documents, the blueprints, or the project. So that's kind of all happening behind the scenes. But I just wanted to share any changes or updates with everybody here at the meeting tonight. For anybody who is on Zoom, at this point, hello, thank you for joining. If anybody has any questions or comments, make sure you use that little chat box and you can ask those right in that little chat. We'll take your question right in there. We do have a moderator who's watching that throughout the meeting. So let's get right into it. We're going to do a quick overview of the project purpose. Why are we here? This should be all old information for everybody, but if you're new to this arena, we'll catch you right up to date. We're going to talk about our milestones and our project schedule. Where do we stand at this point right now, and where are we going to go? We have an update on crosswalks, our traffic signals. Traffic signals may be a little confusing. That's term for like a traffic light. We're going to talk about multi-use path, the street furniture that you can see incorporated in this project, and then Q&A and open forum at the end of the meeting. Project purpose. So this project pulled out the public record speak about because of utilities. We have had 10 water main breaks in the last 10 years. That figure actually updated at one on there. So what we're going to be doing is virtually redoing all of the roadway, all of the underground utilities within Margaret Street between Cornelia and Broad, and then pieces of Court and Breaker Hall. Again, all of this information at this point you should be familiar with. But if you're not, we can talk after the meeting. Or you can also check out our project website, which is margaretstreetproject.com, and you can see all that old information for any old meetings we have. Also, just for housekeeping, this meeting will be recorded, and you'll be able to see it up on the website at your leisure at any time. Again, that is margaretstreetproject.com. You'll be able to hear us also in the room, see everything, and watch the PowerPoint should you need to refer to it at a later. Let's move forward with our project milestones and our projects. So we are and right now we have we are working on those documents behind the scenes. We're working on all those really small details to produce a set of plans that the contractor can go out and build. Once that's done, which is going to be near the end of December, we then go to advertise and bid the project, which is where you're going to send it out to contractors who are going to bid on the project and hopefully win and receive the project. Construction is expected to take 2 years. And these are the tentative dates. So that would be April to November. Obviously, depending on what the winter is looking like and the weather, if it's cooperating, we can stretch that a little longer, maybe into December. Or if it's really cold and we have some snow, we'll shorten that right up to October. So it's going to be expected of 2 years of construction. Sharon, can you click on the screen for me? Because I have lost control. Thank you. There we go. So I talked about crosswalk. Let's look at I love providing some photo sims. So let's look at these. What a photo sim is it's a simulation of what the project could look like, and it really helps bring the project to life so you can visualize it in 3D. So this is our most up-to-date crosswalk. Colors may look a little different, but we're going to dissect it. I'm going to show you what the design decisions and city preferences are right now. versus our progress that we have made. So you can kind of see and compare and contrast, because I think that's a really cool thing to look at. So here is our project as it exists right now, right? This, I'm calling this our before photo. This is an existing photo of the area. Last meeting, I showed you this. You'll see sort of a red Stampcrete snow storage area right at the bottom underneath the light pole and the sign. And you'll also see what's called a type L crosswalk. So that was last meeting. We have since progressed and changed to a gray Stampcrete color with a concrete crosswalk that is stamped with a brick pattern, and we're going to go with yes, you see that, Kim?
Yeah, I heard that.
Excellent. Excellent. So that is going to be our crosswalk configuration with the static signs. We're also going to provide an update on traffic signals. So traffic signals are just your red, yellow, and green lights. Again, red traffic signals is kind of a fancy word for it. But we're going to talk about these 4 intersections right here. So Margaret Street in Cornelia is going to receive a new replacement traffic signal. So Margaret and Cornelia will receive a replacement traffic signal. And then Margaret in Brinkerhoff, there's an existing signal there that is actually going to be decommissioned and removed and become a 3-way stop controlled intersection. We're going to look at that one a little bit more in depth on the next slide. So that means the traffic light, so the red, yellow, and green light is going to come down and it's going to have stop sign. Great question. So then at Brinkerhoff and Oak, right outside, that will be receiving a new traffic signal with new push buttons, new crosswalks, and new sidewalks. And then also the last one, Margaret Street, Broad and Pine, will also receive a new traffic signal. So yes.
Once the light comes down and say a person touches myself and Kim or crosses the street, the traffic will have to slow down.
Yes, absolutely. There's going to be stop signs there. We can cross the crosswalk. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. All of our push buttons are going to be compliant, so you'll be able to reach them for sure. So when we talk about traffic signals, and I just showed that figure with those 4 intersections, 3 of them are going to be receiving a full signal replacement. So this is generally what most of the signals looks like with a span wire. That's where your traffic signals are on, kind of like that droopy sort of cable. That's called a span wire. We're going to be updating them to mast arms. And that's just a visual right there of Margaret and Cornelia. And that will happen at those 3. At Margaret and Brinkerhoff. So that's where the traffic signal is going to be decommissioned and come down. And it's going to be receiving stops in these 3 locations. And then you will be able to see the direction of travel that a vehicle could make or execute. So I'll just leave that up real quick so you can take that in, because this one's probably a new one for some people. So just check it out. Yeah.
So one way south to Brinkerhoff from Cornelia,
Yes.
and so still 2-way from Brinkerhoff to Broad?
Yes.
Okay.
Wait, Brinkerhoff to Broad?
Brinkerhoff, yeah, to Broad.
Bottom section.
Yeah, on Margaret Street, yeah, there's only one way on Margaret Street from.
Well, I'm looking there that somebody can do a left-hand turn headed north on Margaret, so it looks like it's a 2-way street to that point.
Oh, left-hand turn, that's
They
Brinkerhoff.
can turn on to Brinkerhoff from
Yeah.
Margaret Street, yes. So it's 2-way, the southerly section
That's kind
of
of what I
Margaret
said.
Street is 2-way.
I
yes.
guess.
Okay. So another photo Sam I wanted to show was the addition of the multi-use path. So this is our existing or our before photo, and you have probably seen this last meeting. You have seen we have our concrete sidewalk with our bike lane, a buffer area, and then a sidewalk in the back. We talked last meeting about making that front area green space for snow storage and, you know, incorporating more green space within Court and Brinkerhoff. And there has recently been an adjustment to create a multi-use path that will match what's on US Avenue. And that is going to be a 13-foot asphalt multi-use path. Right here, you can see a little picture. It'll have
I can see the picture.
bike lanes in both directions, and then a walking area. So I'm just gonna keep that up for a little bit as well, so you can check that one out. Okay,
So hopefully you don't replicate US Ave totally, because that's really not a good thing with everybody now that's getting things shipped to their homes, and with the delivery truck stopping, you end up with clogs. So I'm just saying, granted, I see there's parking on two sides of the street. I think that's what I'm looking at.
yes,
So maybe that'll alleviate that, but that redo that was done to calm traffic, calmed it a lot when there's delivery, or especially when emergency vehicles come through.
can you provide some clarification on that, Dave, on the actual?
He's concerned about it becoming a one-way street and delivery trucks stopping. For some reason, delivery trucks think it's okay just to park in the middle of the street. And they're not supposed to do that. They're supposed to pull off in the parking
I
space.
know it's supposed to ride motorcycles on the sidewalks either, but they do that.
You're absolutely right.
So we'll go on from there, and this is what, using that photo sim, this is what that typical section would look like. So that's almost like a saw cut of the road, and you can see on Brinkerhoff right here with that new multi-use path right on the side right there. And then the same thing will be happening almost in reverse on Court Street from Oak to Beekman. I'll just hold that up there for a second. And there's that updated photo again, just to look back at it as we switch between all the pictures. Sometimes I like to show the previous pictures again, just so you can let it sink in your mind. Let's move on to street furniture. These are our chosen trash cans and benches that are going to be within the project.
Oh, nice.
You like those cans?
Yes.
Excellent, perfect.
Yes, because if somebody's sitting on the bench and they're drinking a can of soda, they don't have to walk 20 feet to throw the can of soda in the garbage or something.
Absolutely. Also, we're gonna make some updates to the existing lighting system. These fluted decorative poles that you're so familiar with seeing on Margaret Street and throughout the city, we are going to change these Cobra headlights into those fluted poles. And these are on Brinkerhoff from Margaret to Oak, and then Court from Margaret to Oak. And those are going to be changed to those fluted lights. They're going to be more energy efficient LED heads.
Same number of heads?
No.
No additional?
So we're going to do our metric view. So what that does is that shows the different light control in the area. It's almost like a CAD graphic, and will determine if there are any spaces that are too dark and they need to receive some lighting.
So more than likely, you're gonna have, I'm not gonna say 2 to 1, but it's gonna be close to that. For every one of those Cobra heads, you're gonna need close to 2 of the decorative lights.
Because I mean, my concern would be, especially on Margaret, it's way overlit now. So, I mean, if you're gonna do that, I mean, energy efficiency and everything else, I don't think it's necessary.
Well, they run there's a whole program that you put that in. And that program will tell you how often you have to have those space.
Almost looks like little clouds around the lights depending on what their wattage is, and it'll tell you, you know, you need another light here, you don't need another light. It almost makes like little flowers kind of around it and shows what the strength of the light is at
Is
certain.
there a code that dictates how much of light candles or whatever?
Yes, it's an IES designation, and then there's different types, 1 through 5.
Code or state code or?
It's like an energy standard code. I have an electrical engineer working on it specifically, and he can answer any questions you have more closely related to that. That's not my specialty, but we definitely have somebody on the team who is professional electrical engineer who's helping us with that.
There's also Federal Highway Administration has laws dictating on lighting for streets.
Yeah. Well, just we have a number of streets in the city that have to far exceed that, so that's why I'm saying, I mean, it would be nice not to overdo it.
Right. The other thing we're gonna do with these newer lights too, there's a shroud that goes behind them because there is concern about them being too bright towards some of the apartments just because of their height. They're kind of right at that second story window elevation. So these are gonna be a little bit different to kind of stop any of that light from going back into apartments that are on the second story.
Yeah.
The college has some that work pretty well.
Okay.
Excellent. So then, as you know, our project website, margaretstreetproject.com, that's where you're gonna find any of our most up-to-date information, any visuals, any graphics, a bike circulation map. Alicia, we got an updated one on there for you. You can check anything out right on our project website, as well as if you have any information or questions, you can go right to that contact us tab. You can shoot that email right to the project team and we'll get those questions answered for you as quickly as possible. So those were all the adjustments and changes we have made to the project. Like I said, we're pretty close to the end of the job and getting everything all wrapped up. Tom, did you want to add anything?
Well, I'm just figure if we're gonna do some Q&A, I'll be here to support.
Absolutely. So let's we'll turn it over. If we have any questions, let's roll right into it. Do we have any questions in this room?
I have one question that is sort of arbitrary, but just thinking about street furniture, with trash cans and benches, do you have how many per block or area determined?
Absolutely. So we have all of the existing spaces all laid out, and we're going to keep it pretty close to what it is now. Just update the new benches and update the new trash cans.
Okay, thank you.
I think there's like 18 total trash cans
Yes, yes.
and recycling bins combined. So there's quite a few of them downtown.
Awesome, thank you.
Just a quick note going back about the lighting. What we're attempting to do on those blocks on Court and Brinkerhoff Street between Oak and Margaret, where we have those, we call the Cobra Head. Those are really more industrial looking and they're to light up the entire street. And by going to the more ornamental style, we're looking to make it what we call more a pedestrian scale of lighting to really bring down the shroud of lighting so it's not up in people's windows, it's not spilling back into properties, it's concentrated more where the sidewalks are in parking areas and really where you want to have the light concentrated so you don't just get this scatter of light. It's really a distraction.
Guys, you want to keep watching on the food?
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
exactly.
Absolutely. Get it?
So the lights that, I mean, I think people, I own apartments on Margaret, the ones that they have issue with are actually cut the Cobra style, because those are downlights. It's the big globes
Mhm.
that throw the light up and who knows where. So do you have any plans to do that also?
Yeah, these are the shrouds that Andrew's talking about. When we're going to look at the photometric diagram, the IES diagram, we don't want to see something where here's the light and there's a circle around it. You want it more like a oval shape where it's throwing it toward the street and not back into people's windows. So that's something that we can design with the head that goes on top of the pole.
Well, I guess I'm just asking because the lighting on Margaret, you're going to reuse those fixtures or?
We're going to reuse the poles. They're going to be taken down, reconditioned, and put back. That's the current plan,
Okay.
unless it's more economical to just replace it. But the actual head on top of the lighting will be all new design.
Do you have any questions in the chat?
No questions, yeah.
No questions. Okay. Yeah, Councilman.
Okay, so like, the little float there, are they gonna be put somewhere else?
So they're actually going to be taken down and repowder coated and put back in.
He's right.
So Counselor, we've got two options with that. We're getting a price from the manufacturer to find out what the full cost replacement would be. And then we're also getting a price if we were to take those down and powder coat them. It might be cheaper to just buy new ones. And in that case, we would take the existing ones. MLD would keep them in their storage yard. And if something happened to an existing pole, like a car car accident, hit the pole, we have that happen often. They can just take one of the ones that they have in storage and put it up, or we would save them to use on a future project. We actually did that at Wilcox Dock, the marina path. MLD had a bunch of old lit bollards, and we use those to provide lighting around the path. So they won't go to waste. We'll save them and use them for something if we end up replacing them and not just power putting them in these.
So I think we're gonna move to my resolution.
Closest birthday to today.
Okay, who's it? You're the shy You've been coming to these meetings, you know that I really like some games. So, we are going to give away a $25 Aleka's gift card to whoever has the closest birthday to today. Unfortunately, you have to be in the room to win. I apologize for people on the phone. So, does anybody have a birthday in the next 2 weeks? Oh, this is gonna be a challenging one. Okay, a November birthday?
Yes,
Yes. What is,
November 22nd.
I think that's our winner. Can anybody be November 22nd? Perfect, excellent. There is your. So, with that, if anybody has any questions, we'll be here kind of milling about if you wanted to ask anything, but everybody, thank you for coming, and everybody have a great night. Thank you.